Hello, viewers. This is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and it looks like we've got Black-Red Vampires versus... Honestly, I don't know, given the propensity for new decks at the moment. You know, he's got Cryptolith right, and it looks like 3 colors, so he could be running, you know, the traditional 4C Cryptolith right, or the Aristocrats build, or maybe he's running Cryptolith right in one of the new Emerge type decks. But, from this point, I have no idea, so we'll just have to wait, see what he plays. Hopefully it'll give us a better clue as to what he's playing. The other side is very obvious. He's playing Rakdos Vampires. Heir of the Night, which he transformed by discarding the Stormkirk Occultist to cast it for its madness cost. He's going to be trading his Matter Reshaper for the Occultist. The Occultist has Trample, so he does do combat damage. So both of them are going to get their effects. Matter Reshaper found a land, and found Falkenrath Gorger, which is actually quite a nice card for him here, because that means that any of his discard engines could potentially give him a boost from the discard, as well as being able to play the card if it's a vampire. Elvish Visionary. So he played Fury Blade Vampire, which can be a very powerful card. A 1-2 trample for 2, not really that great, but at the beginning of combat on his turn, he can discard a card, and if he does, it becomes a 4-2 trample, which is much more powerful. And like I was saying, if he has a vampire to discard, he doesn't have to lose that vampire. He can play it for a madness cost, and then get the benefit of the Fury Blade and another vampire. So at the moment, this Sultai-colored deck is losing ground quite quickly. He does have mana available. Unfortunately, it's all colorless unless he wants to take damage for it. But something like a Spatial Contortion would be helpful here. Ultimate Price would also be good. Another Fury Blade Vampire. So we'll see what he manages. Vampire Berserkers all over the place. That one's a Vampire Horror. That's one of the creature types that you really don't see all that much anymore, is Berserkers. I've always loved the flavor of that creature type. Okay, another good card for him to discard, Fiery Temper, so now he can play that for its madness cost. And I would imagine he's going to actually get rid of the Elvish Visionary. Since it was 3 damage, I was expecting him to go face with that. But, and Alms of the Vein. I wasn't expecting him to discard 2 cards, since this one doesn't have haste. But why not when, Alms of the Vein is a 1-drop when you Madness Cost cast it, and it's effectively 3 damage. And after combat damage, Sultai is down to 1 life. So he is in a very, very bad spot. And Plains, so 4C. So we'll call him 4C Cryptolith right from now on, until he proves me otherwise. And he concedes. 6 cards in hand, 5 mana available. Theoretically, he could have had an answer, but the biggest problem he had was most of his colored mana was behind the Painland wall, and being at 1 means that he couldn't use them. So something like a Crush of Tentacles would have been great, except for the fact that it cost 2 blue, and he would have had to kill himself to cast it. Same with something like a Languish. So let's go to game 2. Alright, turn to Heir of Falkenrath from Vampires. And as you've seen already, there is some extremely good synergy in the Vampire deck. for example, with Air of Falconwrath, discard a card, it becomes a 3/2 flyer, which is kind of hard to deal with. You know, if you look at Standard in general, there really aren't that many flying creatures that people run, or creatures with reach. So flying is close to unblockable range in Standard. But there are plenty of good options for dealing with flyers. It's just you don't see them very often. But there are newer cards, something like a Spell Queller. You know, at the very least, it's a 2/3 flyer that you can throw in for because of flash. You know, it's only 3 mana, and you know, in a pinch, you know, why not emergency blocker? You know, even if you don't get the effect of the, you know, exiling the spell ability. But with this guy, you know, something as simple as, say, Fiery Temper or Alms of the Vein, discard, turn it into the 3-power flyer, use the discarded card for its madness cost, and add 3 more damage on, and that's a 6 damage swing, you know, for 1 mana and an attack. Ooh, another Arrow Falconwrath. Still no plays from the other side. Now, in Christmas Dreamland scenario, potentially, vampires could hit him for 12 right here and right now with double transform and, say, Fiery Temper and Alms of the Vein. And that would be one hell of a devastating hit, considering it's only turn 4. But it looks like he's still not going full aggressive here. He's taking his time, probably because he doesn't have, you know, the ultra aggressive plays. Well, he does have Alms of the Vein, so he is going for that. But then at the same time, you know, depending on your opponent, you know, what they're playing, you might want to slow play a little bit. That way you can hold back your artillery until you're guaranteed to kill. He did just manage to deal 8 damage in a turn, which is no small feat. Second main phase, Fury Blade Vampire, and 4C is responding with Collected Company. Ooh, good. Double Reflector Mage. That's actually ridiculously good for him here. That'll flip both of the vampire's creatures back to his hand, and he'll be unable to play him next turn. So the flying threat is gone for now. And 2/2/3s are more than enough to handle the Fury Blade Vampire, whether it's buffed up or not. Ooh, and hardcast a third Reflector Mage to clear the board. So 4C striking back here, 4 damage from 2 Reflector Mages. Takes vampires down to 19. Taking some of this momentum back for himself. So Vampire's throwing down his Air of Falconwraths, trying to rebuild his board. 4C, I would say he is in control at the moment. Wow, a 4th Reflector Mage. That is ridiculous. But very, very good for him. Gets rid of one of the vampires again, allows him to attack in with 3 2/3s. 6 damage, takes vampires down to 13. Throws down a Matter Reshaper, so now he has 2 decent blockers, and, you know, this guy, you really don't care if he dies because, you know, he replaces himself effectively. Okay, Fiery Temper to the Air of Falconwrath to transform it. goes for the face, since he's down to 9. 3 damage takes him down to 6. And he's attacking in with his 3/2 flyer, which leaves 4C on 3. So that is a very aggressive play there. And Fury Blade Vampire to follow up. Let's see, 4 times 2 is 8. Plus, well, the 3/2 would most likely be blocked, but 8 damage will not kill. So 4C is attacking all in, though. So at the very least, he has to get rid of... Oh, Vampires does not block with the Fury Blade Vampire. He takes the full damage, goes down to 2. And another Matter Reshaper gives him a blocker against the Fury Blade Vampire. Now, oh, Elder Deep Fiend, one of the new Eldrazi creatures with Emerge. That was actually very well played, sacrificing the Matter Reshaper because it gives you a possible card, and then Elder Deep Fiend lets him tap down 4 permanents at instant speed. And Matter Reshaper found him a Duskwatch Recruiter. And I'm starting to think that this is some kind of a new Bant aggro build with, just these Painlands in there for the colorless costs. Because I haven't seen anything black from him, so I guess I was just misreading him the whole time. But, those last couple of cards and 4 Reflector Mages saved Bant from immediate death from the vampires. But that was 2 games. That was a pretty good sparring match there. The video has gone on long enough, so I'll end it here. That was Black-Red Vampires versus, I'll call it new Bant aggro. So you guys will know that it's more Eldritch Moon-centric. But if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.